Welcome everybody to Into the Score. My name is Avishai Darash. I'm your host for this podcast. And Into the Score, we get a chance to talk to very interesting people from the industries of arts, culture, entrepreneurship, and day-to-day politics. Sometimes, who knows? And before we start this podcast, I would like to ask you, the people that are watching this podcast, to subscribe to our channel. 99% of you that are listening and following this podcast are not subscribed. So please subscribe, and we're gonna see you when we release more content. So today, I get the chance and the privilege to talk to singer-songwriter and producer LYMA.
Hi.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, you're doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
You just saw me do the intro twice in two different ways.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot.
Exactly. So, LYMA, or Cherk, take me from the beginning of your journey to this point.
Okay. About music we're talking now, right?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about you coming with the tram.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I guess I grew up with a lot of music because my dad played guitar and he sang songs. He wasn't any good. We always make fun of him.
Okay.
But the guitar was around.
Okay.
And I had access to it as well. So, he listened to a lot of old blues stuff and a bit of, Steely Dan, Fleetwood Mac, all that kind of stuff that I still like. And he used to have a band that he played with, and they rehearsed at our home. So that kind of gave me a lot of access to music. And for me, I started playing guitar pretty young, but I really can't handle authority very well, in the sense that even if I went to a guitar teacher, I kind of got in trouble almost.
With a guitar teacher?
Yeah, because I don't want to do that now, you know. So that was on and off. So I did it when I was I think about 7. I started playing a little bit guitar. I get some lessons. Then we moved to the other side of the country, so it stopped for a while. Then I picked it back up when I was maybe 12, 13. I started playing electric guitar. I did have like 1 or 2 years of lessons, but then I kind of dropped it again. And then when I realized I could kind of teach myself how to play songs, it really changed. So, YouTube was giving me access, or actually tabs only. There weren't that many lessons yet, I think, but was mostly tabs. So I could guitar tabs, so I could figure out my favorite song, learn how to play it, then I learned how to sing them at the same time. It was just, I wasn't allowed to watch TV, I could watch it in the weekend or maybe for an hour in the evening, but other than that, no guitar, no computer.
Wow, okay. Are you coming from a religious family?
Not at all. When I was really older, it was more allowed. It was just just go play outside. So I was bored a lot. We lived in a really small town, so I started just playing songs and singing songs just to not be bored, basically. And I really loved that and just did that a lot. And then at a certain point, I started writing songs. So it's like, I can sing this. I know a few chords. Maybe I can figure out like a short little song. I really like this. And then, I did that for a long time.
Yeah.
Just figuring out stuff.
Yeah.
And it was never something I was thinking of doing in the future, actually. One thing that changed a lot for me for music and the stuff that I was listening to was like, I grew up in a small town. For the first period, I just listened to what everybody else was listening to. MTV was big for me. Like, secretly I watched MTV, so I wasn't allowed to watch TV, but MTV was my. I was hooked on just watching the
Getaway
videos.
drug.
The video clip, like it became even bigger for
When
me.
MTV was cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I mean, all the 90s R&B stuff and like early 2000s. That was for me like I danced to those videos and like quickly shut the TV down when my mom came in. Like I heard her coming and like because we lived in a small town, we had some space, so I could I knew every sound. Like okay, get the fuck out of here. I had my I just got to see 4 video clips, and it was I was just dreaming about those things. Okay, so but when I got like I became 18 or something, I moved. I started working at a cocktail place in the city Maastricht, south of Holland, and it was actually like a jazz. Yeah, it was mainly jazz music playing always, which kind of introduced. The only questions they asked me when I wanted to work there was like, "What kind of music do you listen to?
Really?
And where do you like to go out?" And I had no experience behind the bar or anything. It's like, okay, apparently I said the right things, and you're hired. Let's go. And the fun thing there was like, you were working behind the bar, but you were also the DJ. So they had hundreds of CDs and 2 CD players, and you had to. When the night started, you had to pick out all your CDs.
Was it like Pioneer? Which you had to...
It was like a flat one. You just had a CD. CD. Yeah, it's like play stuff. Like you couldn't mix anything.
Okay, no faders,
but you had to be there when the song ended because it was like.
Wow.
So you were making a cocktail. You ran to the other side of the bar, pressed play because you knew it was like.
So you had to know when the song is gonna be.
Yeah, you could play a whole album, but when the night started, it was like, okay, you know, song 1 and 2 are okay of the album, but song 4 and 5, like you run, you sprint.
That's a crash course in like.
So it was very interesting way of, and every morning I had to talk with the boss. That was just like telling me all kind, like okay. I had to walk his dog in the morning. It was my first thing when I had a morning shift, and then after I was like cleaning up the bar. He was talking about music all morning. Every week he bought like.
I'm sorry that I cut you.
Yeah.
You had to be a bartender. You had to be a DJ and a dog walker.
It was the best job ever. For me, it was so amazing. Started at 8, like at 8:15. Those guys are amazing, man. They're closing the bar as we speak, I think. But no, it was like 3 brothers owning it, and no. So in the morning, it's like we talked. He always talked about poetry, like new CDs that came in after I walked the dog.
Yeah.
At least 45 minutes.
It's a part of your gig, you know?
It was the best dog ever because he listened. He stopped at every street, and you didn't need any leash.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
It's a good dog. So I don't know how this came into the whole thing, but anyway, I learned a lot about different kind of music because I mean it opened the world. Like okay, so this is so different from what I grew up with. So different from MTV music. It's like way more alternative, and it's like oh my god, all this stuff. So that changed a lot of the things I was listening to and the songs I learned. I still learned all these songs that I loved, I guess. And then I moved to Amsterdam.
How old were you when you moved to Amsterdam?
19.
19. Okay, so you had like a year in that bar.
A year in that bar. So I dropped out of college first year because I stayed in Maastricht because I was like, okay, you finished high school. Nobody expected that. Even, like nobody.
What was your major in college?
I started out doing psychology in Maastricht for 2 months, and then was like, this is the same thing, same bike ride I was doing the year before this. I'm getting crazy. I need to change it up. So then I started just working to go on a trip, and then I ended up at that bar. Did that for a year. I was like, I still need to get out of here. I know all these faces. This is enough. Yeah. Enough of this. So then I moved to Amsterdam, picked a new college because my dad said I needed to finish school before anything else.
Yeah.
And I didn't even really thought I would do something with music at that point.
Okay.
It's just always doing it,
Right.
but never, like, it was never the goal, I guess.
Was it, sorry that cut you, was it like a thing that wasn't supported by your environment also? That they were like, yeah, music is not a job?
I don't think they even said it like that, but it was. I wasn't. It was more like, yeah, just finish. You're gonna finish the school first. Just you're smart. Just do something, finish it, and if you still like music afterwards, it's just. I don't remember it as being like really a pushback for me wanting to, like, go for the music. That came a bit later on, I guess, because. When I played all that music, I did it for myself. Nobody knew, because where I came from, it wasn't cool. So I guess I just did it in secret. I'm singing even, like, man, that shit you're singing, you know, that's frowned upon where we come from, you know. So for me, it was like, this is my little secret
wow,
thing.
okay.
But I always keep doing it.
Always kept doing it and kept loving it.
Yeah, because it's just something that I knew after I started picking up writing, I realized that I really needed that just to get that stuff out. Just to get everything. It's like a diary. It became like my diary. From the moment I started doing that, it became my diary. Amazing. In a way. Yeah. Just to get all my... Even before sometimes I know what's going on, I'm already writing about it, and then it's kind of telling myself, oh, okay, shit. Apparently that's what I'm dealing with, or that's problematic, or stuff like that. So, yeah.
Amazing the metaphor of creating, huh? That it's like it's...
Yeah, for me,
what you can't put in simple words or expression, you put it out in a piece of art, and that becomes like...
It becomes clear, in a way. Or at least more clear, or it teaches you about yourself if you write from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I've always loved that about it, and that's why I couldn't stop with that. And then when I started going to college,
same psychology?
No, I chose something that I thought was like, might do this, seems all right. Called Media and Culture. It's like on the UvA. Like the
obedient culture?
No, media and culture. Media. Yeah, it's like media, obedient culture. Yes, that's what I'm into. Just getting everyone in line.
Obedient. I was like, oh, the UvA has come a long way.
Yeah, whoa. That's my jam.
Gaslighting, obedient culture, mass manipulation.
All that stuff, you know? I want to know more about that. How do you really... put that in place?
Exactly. So media and culture,
I studied that for 4 years.
When you graduated?
I graduated. I got my bachelor degree.
Yeah.
I took all my classes that I could. You had a lot of choice in the extra classes, I guess. I took all of them in music, so I could write more about music. I wrote a lot of songs, the lyrics for it, I was writing them in classes. So it was in the, like, that made me realize. So every time I was in in class in this big room with all these people, and I was obsessed with getting the chorus for a song that I was working on, and it was like, and I came out really happy, you know. It's like, I finally got the chorus. So like, what are you doing in there? You know, it's like...
So it was way more fulfilling than the studies that you were
doing. It's like, it was just, I just had such a focus for that, that I realized, maybe...
It's amazing that you kept 4 years. I mean...
I met one of my friends there that was also hooked on music. So probably on one of the first days that I went there, it's like, I knew nobody. I still don't know many of them, because I didn't really feel... like connected to most of the people in college. I guess I've always felt a bit like an outsider, but especially on a college. But one guy was just, we started talking music before the class started, and we've never stopped talking music ever since. He was the one that got me into producing, because he was producing a little bit on Reason at the time. So we went back to my place, Worked on, like, started messing around with early hip hop kind of loopy stuff. Yeah, and that was when that spark was put next to the songwriting. It was like, oh my god, this is, you can do that as well. It's like it became intoxicating, and I just kept we kept doing that, and he showed me he was like collecting a lot of music, so through him I've got so much more broader palette again, which opened my eyes into even more sounds, and it's like, that's just the seed.
So you're 23. You graduate.
No, I'm. Oh yeah.
No, not you. No. I'm saying I'm taking you in the time.
Yeah.
You're 23. You graduated. From the UvA.
Yeah.
How does the next day look? Like, in terms of, okay, you paid your dues. They told you, like, at least finish. This.
I knew I was already doing some, like, small performances, like playing my songs out.
Throughout these 4 years.
I started to do small singer-songwriter gigs with just guitar, and even got like a small band together, playing just with drums and bass, like with the 3 people. And after I was like, I'm just gonna try to do that for I don't know how long, just work and do that. It seemed like I didn't have much rent to pay because I was working anti-squat, like in, I don't know,
it was like $80 or something.
It was nothing. So if I work 4 days in the kitchen or like in a bar, I was always working on the side anyway during my studies. Like, if I do that, I get the rest of the month to do music and to figure that out. It's like, I'll try that for a long time. I did that for a long time. Did some gigs, quite a lot of gigs, but I also.
And that was throughout your studies that you did that?
Yeah, throughout
after the studies.
And after some more, a bit more serious, because and a bit, I mean, over time the sound changes a lot of what I always had. At a certain point there became this sound in my head that I wanted the songs to sound like, and then it became clear that I couldn't do that with the band that I was playing with, and then it was like, okay, how can I get that sound that I hear that the song should sound like? How can I make that?
So, sorry, like, why did it become apparent that you cannot do it with the band?
At a certain point, I felt like, okay, I write these songs and they play like kind of like what they think I want them to play, but they don't really play what they want to play. So I felt like it was like a compromise. It sounded like a compromise even. So it felt like unauthentic because of that. So like the drummer needed to play more softer and more like, more soulful when he was playing like more heavy stuff normally. And so it's like, okay, this is like, I feel like we're all limited now. Even all of us are feeling a bit limited in what we're doing.
Was it something that came from your direction, like how you were leading it, or was it, or you wouldn't think about it?
No, we talked about it, and I'd play drummers that I really loved, and he also loved that stuff. Or we tried to make those. It's still to this day, it's always hard to truly find somebody that thinks the same way or feels the same kind of things or have the same taste.
Tell me about it.
So that's it. It's all good, and I love what they do. But maybe together it doesn't come out what. At least I felt like it had to get. I needed to make it myself, I guess.
So that's when
the production side became way more important to me. So.
And how old are you when that happens, more or less?
Probably 24, 25.
Yeah, so it's like 2 years, 1.5 years after finishing the UvA.
Yeah.
You're doing some gigs with that kind of band. You realize that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
What is the first DAW that you're picking up? The digital audio workstation.
I started, beginning I was working with Reason some, so but that wasn't really fluent. At a certain point, a friend of mine worked with Logic. I started working with Logic. then because I was getting more serious, I was producing all this time. I was already trying stuff with that for probably already since I was 22, 23.
Right.
I started doing Logic stuff, something like that, I think that age. And then when I realized production side was the thing, I went to SAE.
SAE, yeah.
For like a class just to meet like-minded people. It was I didn't have money for the full thing, but I managed to, if I worked really hard, just to do a course there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Didn't learn that much. So,
Really?
yeah, I figured out there was one guy that was like, I was hoping there were people that were way better than me, so I could learn a bit from them.
You up, yeah.
But yeah, and then I found out like, yeah, there were some that were good, but there was such different style, like really techno or stuff like that. And back then I was mostly organic stuff that I was trying to make.
Right.
So yeah, that was a bit difficult to kind of find. Like I found one guy that was good. And
which year is that?
This is probably 2017 or something.
2017. Okay. I'm trying to put it all like in a grid for myself. Yeah.
I never really think about it.
I'm an interviewer, so it's like
yeah, something like that. And but it's only 3 months. But through that, I met somebody that was that had a studio, like through a friend that was interning at that place. Said, yeah, maybe you can intern as well. And he had like a analog studio with the best gear.
Okay.
Pretty much with all the gear that, I mean, I was influenced by D'Angelo at a certain point, probably when I was 22, was like that changed the way I wanted to sound at that point. And he had all the gear that the record that I loved the most was made with. And he even had the producer of that record in his studio for a few months, because they were planning to record Erykah Badu in his studio, which never happened. But anyway, the preparation was there, and they had all the gear to make that sound as good, you know? So yeah, for some reason, I found the way to that place. And yeah, that's where I learned a lot. I did a lot of like sessions with other musicians, and I was basically the sound engineer, even though I bluffed that I did sound engineering as a full study. I didn't
okay, because you had the SIE thing.
I didn't have to do an internship.
Yeah.
Like it's like an internship for what? For a fictive like.
But I mean, how did you do it with like the table and like, you know, sending all the mics and compressors?
Yeah, that was just
you just figure it out.
And it wasn't that I was straight away doing all of that, but I was like one step at a time, because he had his way of doing it as well. So it wasn't like, here you go. It was like, okay.
Well, it'd be funny if like he comes with the drum set and you're like, you don't need drums for
that.
You don't need drums. Believe me, you don't need drums.
Really.
One mic is enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it was all bluff. That's just most of what I do in my life,
which is pretty amazing, because it's like you got to be a little bit delusional. You gotta dilute a little bit to be able to get in, and then you know, we were just talking about it in the podcast before that it's like over preparing.
Yeah,
that someone is like over preparing, and then you get to the thing, and it's like you get a curveball.
You get too much
mental in your head of how things should be, and then you find yourself like not being able to be flexible or free enough in the situation itself. And actually, if I understand you correctly from the stuff that you're telling me, actually it taught you to be extremely flexible.
Yeah.
And roll with the punches. Like, okay, I need to understand how I'm doing this. This is like... So, okay, so then what?
So... I mean, I've stuck there for like 8 years in total.
Wow.
So I started making my own stuff there as well. So I was able to, in my downtime there, I could record my own stuff there. So that was amazing. So
wow.
I got
access to this type of like facilities and equipment. Yeah.
I could record my voice on the best mic and stuff. Like, problem was I had to run to the vocal booth after our last record. It's like. So it was a bit like you figure it out. Small price to pay, and so that was a good learning
Yeah.
thing. And I probably just recorded music for probably like six years. Not
Just
playing
as,
it to
as a technician, basically.
yeah,
recording
just recording myself, like
Yeah.
having my own, like I had a studio at home as well, just making so much music and just writing music, figuring
No,
stuff
but I'm
out.
saying like you recorded because you had basically you were also recording as a
Also,
sound engineer, but
yeah.
also you were doing your own thing.
Yeah.
So how does it? Because I'm always curious about how does it feel? I mean, because you have this like hybrid thing. You're telling me like you're a creator, but you're also a technician in that sense.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Because you know, the sound technicians, they have a specific kind of like aura around him that they're
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes not the most accommodating. Depends, of course, on the venue and the person. But
Yeah.
I wonder if it has to do with lack of creativity, that they cannot create and then they don't get the outlet.
Maybe. I don't know. It's also a lot of stuff that you have to take care of. A lot of cables, a lot of like, and you don't have that much time most of the time, and you're alone, and like, and there's always something that's broken that you didn't know about. So it's always something you need to fix with sort of in a high pressure situation.
Yeah.
So I guess that gets to a lot of the sound engineers. I don't know. That's how
No, I understand you completely because it's
and
like,
maybe I don't know, the creativity part. Maybe could be that there's something that's unfulfilled, but yeah, you would have to ask them. I'm not sure.
So-
for me, it was quite. I mean, I wasn't that. I really liked recording bands or recording vocalists because it taught me a lot about how they approach that. And
you also could see their process.
yeah,
basically,
you could
high
see
level,
like,
low
okay,
level,
yeah, oh wow, they stack it like that. Wow, it's just like it teaches you because you get to hear how they make the choir sounds super wide and big, and or how they some nail it in one shot, some do 500 takes and comp everything. It's like, okay, both could work for some.
Yeah.
It's just different approaches. And yeah, for me, that was always the way I was sitting in those situations. I didn't really like the engineering part, to be honest. Like
Because of all the technical part of it?
yeah, it's just like I just want. After that whole period, I realized I want my setup to be set up and working,
Come, record. You go.
and have as little delay in my inspiration or in my creative
Yeah.
process as possible. So it's like I have this idea, I record it right now, go to the next, record it,
Yeah.
and instead of okay, how can I make this sound the best? Maybe get that mic. I mean, it's amazing. I love people that have that patience and like that. And maybe the older I get, the more I start doing it again. Because now, I mean, our studio does look pretty serious, I think, and we get more and more mics and things that we thought I didn't want or need, but.
What was that sentence? You die the hero or live long enough to become the villain?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably you'll be both in your life. You know, yeah.
No, because it's interesting you say that because it's like I know for myself when I get to a studio, it's almost like this is my preference. The technician is like a ghost. You know what I mean? Like I get there and it's ready. And if there is like something that is not working, which always there is something that is not working, I get like, because I need to focus on just being like nailing it, you know? And because it costs so much time and money and all this, and we have to do it. And it's like high pressure and all that. So I can understand that pressure when you have a client that is just like, from 10 until 4, I got to put 3 tracks in that time. Wow, it's like
and we had people that flew in from America and like this is the only studio that has the gear that we want, and then there's something not working. It's like pressure.
Yeah, and how? Okay, so you said you worked there for 8 years. You said.
Yeah, I worked there probably for 6, but then the studio moved at some point to the center of Amsterdam, and I had the option to. I still helped him out with a lot of stuff, but I also got my own part in the studio with my setup.
Okay.
So I had my own corner with my instruments and stuff
Yeah.
that I had set up most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for probably 2 years. And
2
then I
years,
wasn't really working as an intern anymore. There was another intern already. But still, it was sort of...
Yeah.
but it was in the COVID times.
There's COVID times. Yeah.
So there was supposed to be an amazing club next to it with the recording studio, and then have that all like intertwined, that the people playing in the club could be recording there, and or you record the people in the club through the SSL table. So the like you get a live performance which sounds like a recording, stuff like that.
So it was also like a live show.
Yeah, there was like a
live
venue, like
yeah.
a jazz clubby vibe. In
Which one was it?
it was underneath an hotel at Rembrandtplein. It's called Obsidian, the club.
Obsidian, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it was really about to open. Then COVID hit.
COVID hit, and
The whole team
tanked.
got like, oh yeah, we can't really do this right now, and it was like,
yeah.
the worst time to start with that.
How was COVID for you, in that sense?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I got a baby in COVID because I was having
During
time
COVID?
for the first. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good way to make up for like to get.
I also got a baby.
Use
during that time.
use your
Awesome.
time. You know, that's
Awesome.
perfect. I had some time for it, so yeah. So that
Yeah.
was all right. And other than that, yeah, I didn't mind slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Did you also have this feeling of like, oh, it's good to go back to nature, to slow things down?
Yeah.
Then as soon as the summer comes, I want to go to Ibiza.
Yeah.
I want to party.
Yeah.
Give me a plane.
Let's go.
So basically, okay, so this initiative is not happening. Then you find yourself like at home, I guess, right? In COVID and all that.
Yeah, COVID, a lot of at home. I just finished an album that I printed on vinyl myself. Tried to, because I mean, dumbest idea. Couldn't sell any of it because I couldn't tour or couldn't do any shows, or so it was a bit of a struggle musically. But I guess music for me has always been a struggle. It's like love and hate, because I love to do it, but I hate to sell myself. And it's always like I kind of love what I do, but I sometimes hate what I do, and I love what I do, hate what I do. So
that's
it's just hating my. It's probably like sort of one day I'm in love with the song I've made, and next day I hate it. It's just like, I don't know.
How do you know when it's ready?
I don't know if you ever know if I can always keep tweaking, but I've learned how to let go at a certain point. It's like, give yourself a deadline. That's the deadline. It's gonna be ready then.
Yeah.
And then there are always things that I want to tweak, but then it's out there, and I let it rest for a while, and then I listen back and I forget about these things. It's like, you can kind of, it takes some time for me, but after a year or something, I can kind of listen to it as it's maybe not, just less focused and less zoomed in, and then it becomes a whole again.
Yeah.
So you need to let it go before you can listen to it like that.
And do you have like a scheme that you work with, in the sense of like, you say I have to let it go, like, do you take space from it for some time, like you expend that time, or what is it?
Usually the things that I find important is do I really have a moment in time that I am in love with the song, that I think it's the best song.
Yeah.
Because there's moments that I feel like, this is the best song. Just
That's a
because
great
it's
feeling,
like, came out of nowhere, and now it's here, and I just love this now. And then I need to have had that feeling about the song in order for it even to be finished. Because otherwise it's like, it's okay. There's cool things about it, but I need to have this connection with it. And then, usually it can go a lot of ways. Sometimes I work with people that I send music to that say, you know, this, I want this track. This is amazing. Finish that. And then I start finishing that, and then it gets released.
Wow, okay.
But a lot of my own, I like working with people because it helps you, establish a moment that you feel like, this is like finished. Because they have this, they have some. If somebody else can have this, for me, it's
like you don't want to be completely responsible for the decision, or
yeah, I don't know what it is. I guess I have too many sketches out there. So choosing which one to finish is probably the hardest.
So you have a lot of sketches that are just standing in the air right now. That it's like
Hundreds.
Wow. How do you weave them out? How do you?
Sorry, I try to many times. Like, okay, I'm gonna put that in. Like, organize this stuff. I make new like categorizations and put stuff in there. Okay, don't go into the projects. Just trying to sort them. And oftentimes I open a project and I get sucked in. I start working on an old project. So that's a problematic thing. I work with organized people that are teaching me how to become a bit more organized with my own stuff. But yeah, most of the time I live in chaos, and I have plans that, I mean, I have all these plans living in my head, and that's probably what clutters it.
But would you like? It's interesting because I'm like right now very busy with the relationship between order and chaos. I find a very interesting relation between the two. Because for creatives, I feel that we need to have organized chaos.
Yeah.
You know, for us to have like the magic, the spark.
Yeah.
Needs to come from the chaos. It cannot come from from this time to, but for me to get to this organized chaos, I need to put order in my life, in the sense of from this time to this time I'm gonna work.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I get sucked in, and then I get disappeared, and then the next day is like disappearing for me. I'm done. I'm drained. You know, especially with a family. You know, small kids, wife, things to handle. So it's like to find a kader, where the chaos can just like prompt the genius idea. Do you agree to that?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I like to make music out of complete chaos. Just some of my favorite things is just letting it go completely crazy, and then afterwards start organizing what I did. It's like, okay, but there was already this feeling captured because I didn't think about anything. And then you get to, sometimes it's like 20 layers. It's like total madness, but you felt something somewhere, and then you have to kind of organize it to get that out again, or just grab that and make that the main thing.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
And do you go, how easy are you with deleting stuff? With killing your own darlings?
Yeah. I've become better at it. I used to suck at it. But
so you would like hoard. You would just like keep and keep.
My project looked like I guess just total chaos. Just it could be like 150 tracks in there with different bass lines, different. Just no, not that bass line. Trying to totally different, and just it's like 4 parts. There's like hard switches, like go from from that key into that key. I don't care. Just like wow, just flying all over the place. And I really love that still, but can't present that to people. It's like that's just for me.
Just imagine.
Yeah, that's just for me. Maybe one day people are just as chaotic as me because they've been scrolling so long that it kind of starts working again. I've begun to think maybe I can release some of the things
So it's
because
like
there's no
Doom.
attention span anyway.
It's
So
like doom producing.
Yeah.
It's like just.
it's exactly that. So I have this one theory that I'm making a project like that one day, because I had the realization for me at a certain point that I never want to make boring stuff. That like boring music. They have this famous artist that said, "I don't want to make no more boring art." I was like, "Yeah, exactly that with music. Fuck that. Just I don't want to be bored ever." So I guess in my own, if I don't have to present it, I take that to the extreme. So it's just like
I understand you.
like a total ADHD crazy.
Yeah. And then from there you like weave out.
And then it's like, now
ideas.
that's the song. If I'm honest, now I can say like, or something, some time goes over it. It's like, that was the song. That's the idea. That's the strongest.
Yeah, because I guess I'm asking like how attached you are to your ideas. You know what I mean? Like, no, this idea is like, I can't get rid of it because maybe it will serve me at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. I'm not that attached anymore. I can kill it now. If somebody tells me, no, man, that sucks. Sometimes I try to prove them wrong. It's like, no, that doesn't work. And that kind of gives me a spark that's like, I'm going to show you that it works. And then I'll make something totally new with that idea that I know was the one and then it works because there's this, it's this, sometimes it comes from pressure as well. It's like,
Absolutely.
Oh, I don't really feel this at all. It's like, and then it's like, okay, you don't feel it because you can't hear it. So for me, it's like the puzzle needs to be like, it's like, yeah,
I like it. No, I like
that's sometimes how it works for me. It's like I'm gonna make you hear what I hear, but apparently, I'm also limited in my abilities. So apparently, sometimes I have this feeling already, but I can't translate it to you. So how do I do that? Yeah, that becomes the mission.
And tell me a little bit about like the collaboration that you have with Marcel. He talked very highly of you in the last podcast, and I'm curious because I saw your name coming back in his catalog quite a lot.
Yeah. Basically, he's an amazing guy. I love him. He's just like such a character and such a warm-hearted guy that just grew on me so much. And he's been sending me stuff, and we've been making tracks ever like since we. Yeah, he's often somebody that's also very critical and honest. I don't think he's always right, but he does tell his truth. So that's really helpful and sparks ideas and yeah. We tend to send each other lots of stuff that we're interested to, and he's a great motivator as well.
Yeah, how did you meet actually? How did it come about?
Yeah, I think, or I know that he was like working on a remix for the first EP I ever dropped. He was working on a remix, but it never really got finished. But there was like the first link up, and then we never really met. But then he sent me some stuff like a bit after that. And yeah, I remember working on a track of him and a friend, and I wrote some stuff on it, but wasn't really sure about it. It was a really long track, and I needed to find like, I don't know. It was like it took a while to make it work, and then I was like, I don't know if this is cool, and then I let it like sit there for months, and then I finally sent it the day before the whole EP was supposed to be mastered. So he was like, what the fuck? I didn't say anything because I just, I just didn't know yet if it was something I was like really feeling. And I sent it. He was like, yeah, I want to put it on there, but there's no time. So this is going to be the mix. I was like, okay, do it. So that became the first collaboration.
Okay. What's the reason that you sent it so late? Maybe you were afraid of feedback or negative feedback or what?
Yeah, I think I just was having negative feedback of my own a lot about it. So once I don't love it, I'm not sending it. And that's the thing. I make it, I love it for a bit, then I hate it for a while.
Right, right.
Not always. Some things I just keep on loving, keep on hating. But this one, I was kind of back and forth. I probably did after 2 months. I dove back into it and I fixed what I thought was broken, and then it was something for me.
Yeah, but then it was out already, or because
Then I sent it, and then it was out the next day. So that's
okay. That's like the whole
not
timeline,
out
yeah.
the yesterday, but it was sent to the master. Like
That was from basically when he was doing EP from Lumberjacks in Hell.
yeah, I think it was on. No, it was for another label from Brighton. I think it was called Shall Not Fade.
Shall Not Fade.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was the label.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so take me to your day-to-day life now. I wanna get to know you now, because we went through this whole story, and I want to know like your reality right now, that you're.
My reality right now is I'm doing. Yeah, I still have a side job, but I have a kid now, so I need to make more on my side job.
What is a side job?
My side job is working for like the art department for movies and commercials and stuff like that. So I work either as an assistant or like I build sets with with wood and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's juggling. Just it's all freelance, and I have a lot of friends now that became friends through this work that call me if they have something, and I work for a few days with them, and then I'm back into the studio. At this point, it's often I work every day now, because it's like I do that. Then I often have to do some stuff in the evening, and then I have a kid as well, so do that.
Yeah.
It's just I try to fill up every time.
Yeah.
Every
So basically, you have like your bread and butter. Like it's like the
but
fixed income.
and I try to make music that thing as always, as it's always like. But I don't want to necessarily just tour only to do that, because I also want to be home in a way. So I want to do touring, but do it in a smart way. We're trying to build something. Also have a band project now. So we're trying to get that off the ground, so we can get like streamline that part of it as well. And other than that, just release a lot of music. That's what I didn't release music for the first 6 years I was making it. Since I've started releasing music, I think it's just been snowballing, because this year has been crazy with releases so far.
What do you mean by that?
Like first month, 1 EP, 2 or 3 singles
Wow.
from not from that EP. So it's like
wow. That's like
almost every week. There was the first month, and then like 2 weeks after release, 2 weeks after, like 2 releases a month almost this year so far.
And do you mix and master everything that you do, or do you send it to mastering?
I never master.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm a really good mixer for my own stuff. I do it, but I don't think I'm really good at it. Probably because I do also I do vocals and I do everything, and there's probably too much I want to bring to the front or something.
Yeah, and maybe you're also like really inside.
I think that's usually I tend to struggle with that. I do it because I don't have the money or the budget sometimes to have it be mixed by somebody that I really think should do it. I mean, I don't suck at it, but I mean, yeah. I guess you always want to make it even better.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, what I would sometimes do is stems mastering. So we send just basically the main stems, and then it's a sort of mixed with those ingredients.
Yeah,
it's mastered, so they still have some control over like the big ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
But the sound is already there. Not like it's not a creative thing anymore.
And how would it look like if you had the perfect situation? How would it look in your eyes? Like if What would be the situation?
For me, it would be the perfect situation if I just had my songs, have everything in there that I feel like, and have somebody that has my taste mix it,
Yeah.
and have it mastered. You know,
Yeah.
so there's somebody that's just way better at all that stuff and has also do stuff creatively. So I don't want to limit that. I'll do some creative mixing,
so
but
you're looking for like a symbiotic collaboration.
Yeah.
Almost, like someone that really gets you and can just uplift your music to the next level. But my question is more like for career wise.
okay, yeah.
How would you, if you had
Perfect situation. I would love to have my, I just hope, I'm trying to get as much people listening to my music and connect really with my music, so that there's nothing that I love more than creating. I mean, that's the whole reason why I started, and that's the whole reason why I always will keep doing this, is because I love to make something out of nothing. So if I can make a living off of that thing, that would be my ideal situation. So I would just create as much and as good, maybe not necessarily as much, but as good as possible.
Yeah,
you know,
and then basically the resources will be available for that, so you can live and support your family.
Exactly. So I can have more time to also experiment, because with less time you have less time to experiment as well. Because parts of it I want to do more things that are just not necessary. You know, try to figure stuff out that are look for crazy things in the equipment or in experiment with that and makes things out of that. But it takes more time. So now usually it's more focused, which is also good, but just like, okay, making a song, okay, it's you have less time, so you produce it in a different way, I think. And if I would have more time for that, I mean,
but is it like a setback? That's my question. If you have,
I don't know, because I think it's just different type of music that you make. Because if you have less time, there's more pressure, and pressure makes different music. For me, it's like if you don't have, you need some pressure, you need deadlines to finish anything. I think, at least that's how what I need to finish something. But
No, I'm asking that because it's a reoccurring theme of this thing of like, when you're actually confined into time, when you don't have that much time, the things that come out of you sometimes are brilliant.
Yeah,
because
true.
It's you don't have time to meander and go in and out. I remember before I had kids, before I had a relationship, before this, because I'm a pianist, I would practice 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
But I would be like doing the same work that I'm doing now in 2 hours. You know?
That's true. That's pressure does. I guess there's an upside to it as well. But what I do love about like not having, you need to live to create songs. You need to experience things, because otherwise you just run out of stories. So I do love when I have the time to build up these ideas already in my other job or the other things I'm doing. But I do think it's possible to do it in a different way. But then my inspiration would come from different things. So this is not necessarily worse, but I guess ideally I just make enough money to support my family with the music. Either way, I'll do whatever, man.
It's such a fulfilling feeling, huh? It's fulfilling to know that, to know that like what you're putting out to the world is you get that echoing back to you with people saying basically, I want to hear more of that stuff. I'm buying a ticket or buying an album or downloading or doing all that stuff. Yeah, that's something that for people that are not necessarily in a creative work, they don't get it. It's like the amount of money in our bank account is not a representation of our value as people, our value as creators. That's not, don't get me wrong, a lot of money is good because you can create, but funny enough, when I see someone spending, I don't know, 100 grand on a car, I'm like, man, that's a badass tour you're just putting on wheels, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying, like, I could produce an album, pay crazy promotion, and go on tour for that money. And maybe I won't come back with profit, but I'm not even I'm not even bothered by that thing, because I brought out something to the world that is substantial, you know, that is not just another consumer product, you know, that if, like, just give me a car or give me a...
It's a feeling that you share, you can share, like
it's an emotion.
Yeah.
Well. So we got to this moment in the podcast where I'm really interested. Always I ask all the musicians and creators, what was the worst gig that you can remember, that you still wake up in the night and you're like, oh my God.
The one you asked, the one I'm thinking of is actually also sort of the best and the worst, because it sort of followed. I had two shows on one it was Queen's Day still then, with a band. First show was in Delft on the Grote Markt. It's like on the square.
Mm-hmm.
And we played there. And I had two shows. The other one was a solo show I had to play. First show, we played, and it felt like this is weird tension. Something is off. Afterwards, my drummer said, I'm moving to Sweden. I'm stopping the band. I was like,
What?
Okay. So we started the band, and he was like an amazing drummer. He did lots of like details. He was actually, we're a very creative guy. He was like also a visual artist. So that was like, oh my God, and I still have to do the other show. I was already I didn't feel like doing that show anyway. It's like already felt like, should I do it? Well, fuck, I'll do it. I have to go there by myself with the train, with the guitar on Queen's Day with all the people partying. Yeah. Already knew like this is gonna be, I don't know. But fuck it, I'll go. And I get on the train and I already feel like, oh yeah, everybody's drunk and wants to say, oh, you have a guitar, play something. Just kind of punching me in the stomach already. I was already feeling down, but just nothing was like, I wasn't in that mood anyway. So normally that I could even make a joke with it, or I mean, but this day I couldn't really have it. And I went by train to Alkmaar, and I was supposed to play there on like a beach they made in the city, sort of small. And I stood there and I looked at the thing, and I was like, oh my God, not enough people to make this thing. You know, just playing by yourself with guitar at many of these singer-songwriter gigs that are like sort of, I don't know, humiliating because nobody's paying attention. It's like, I've had many of those, and they all sucked.
But they're all important.
They're all important. I mean, it's very good to get over yourself and to still do it and have this. There's always people that do enjoy it. It's just. I mean, it helps you let go of your ego anyway. Yeah. Like nobody hears it. It's just, it was great. Yeah, it's great. I'm trying to put everything I have here, but. Yeah. I mean, I understand now, but at the time it was probably more difficult. And that day it was like, oh, this is gonna be that, you know. So I felt so down, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I was watching from afar, you know. Didn't want to let them know I was there. I was like really on the fence for probably about an hour.
Really?
Yeah, really. I was just watching. It's like. I really just, everything was just like, fuck, not today. I just can't do it. Just can't do it. It just felt too low to do it. And then they called my name, that I was up next or something. You know, I was like, fuck, they already called my name. Now I have to go. You know,
you cannot be on the fence.
You know, for some stupid reason. That was the reason enough for me, like, fuck, I might as well. And then I went up. Started playing, and it started off with that feeling, you know, and then it ended up going really well,
Mm.
which was very surprising to me. So it was like not a lot of people. It was like people, because it was just myself and my guitar. I did some drumming on my acoustic guitar, so that gives some beat. But you know, on Queen's Day, they just want to have a party. So that's my feeling as well. So who wants to have that? Everybody's here to just, I don't know, have some. But I just played that, and that kind of happened with just the guitar, so it was still great. So it's not my worst gig, obviously, because it went all right in the end. But it was probably the one I struggled with the most, I think, to even go up.
And was it like, were you competing with other parties that were like in the background and stuff?
Yeah. When you stood from afar, you couldn't hear, like, it wasn't a big sound system. It wasn't like everything was just, nothing was really. I knew that I'm not gonna hear myself. It's gonna look like I checked all the boxes for shitty gigs up front. I've been there before. I just know exactly what's gonna happen, and it didn't turn out that way. So but I just had to think about it, because I think about that moment sometimes still. All the other ones I kind of have dropped, I guess. I don't really remember there's always something.
There's always
every gig that sucks or that goes wrong.
Exactly.
And there's always some stuff that's amazing, but yeah.
And if you could sit with yourself, I asked you that before we started the podcast, but if you could sit with yourself from 10 years ago, 12 years ago even, and you have all this knowledge that you have right now, all this experience, all the good gigs, the bad gigs, the great productions, bad productions, tracks with 150 channels, tracks that ended, tracks that didn't end, and you could sit with yourself with LYMA that is just starting his career, or Czech that is just starting his career, or starting this journey. What would be the advice you would give yourself?
Make it about connection with everything. Just make it about connecting with the people that you want to play for. Connect yourself truly with the music you make. Even though you do that subconsciously, it needs to be more. For me, it was like learning how to make that the focus and present it to other people. It's not about. It's about you in a way, but it's also about how do you connect that with other people.
Right. So it's connecting to the audience, connecting to the people, right?
Making that connection. I think that's hardest part for me.
For you.
Because I'm quite the loner. I've always been quite a loner, even though I'm
you seem like a very social guy.
I'm a very social guy, but I can be by myself very well, and I kind of go into that.
But that's the artist, man. I mean, I'm very generalizing, of course, and maybe some extrovert is listening to it now thinking that's nonsense. But I I see a common thread with artists, the need for solitude, and also the danger of it.
Yeah,
I can really, I know myself, I can go into like, if like when I was going through the breakup and like in 2015, and then she left the country with my kid, so then I was by myself, and I had this big house, and all I was doing was practicing yoga, meditation, and playing piano. And then my mother died right in that time, so I inherited some money and I didn't have to work. I don't recommend.
That's just cocoon that goes like,
I went into very high places spiritually and like all this like out of body experiences and all that stuff, but I started to get anxious from people, because I was in my own little world, and then I got a gig. I got a job in teaching music. And that got me out of like the cocoon.
You're connecting with people again. Just like, oh yeah, I do like people, I guess.
I guess people
are pretty cool.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that we do what we do here. I mean, it's like you asked me in the beginning, like, wow, aren't you drained and stuff?
Yeah,
like, dude, I can do another 3, man.
Yeah, no, I've it opened my eyes as well. It's like,
Think about you in the studio. You can just get sucked.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
just like a
rabbit hole.
wormhole, and in the end, this is the thing. What it's all about, you know.
That connection to
Yeah.
people, to talk to them. I would never, what was it? Someone asked me about doing it online. I was like, no. Like, I prefer to pay, somehow get the money and fly you in, and we do it face to face, than online. I'm like, sorry, it's so, like, I need to see the person. I need to feel you. I need to see like what you're about, the small little details, the gestures. That says much more, you know.
Yeah.
And we can keep a show for what, half an hour, and then it starts trickling down. And so that's an amazing, really amazing advice. Really, the connection thing. And is there something you would like to plug? I mean, we're going to put all your links, everything.
Yeah.
Is there something that's coming? Because this is going to be out in 6 weeks.
So then we're in May.
It's going to be end of May.
End of May.
Yeah.
I got 2 tracks coming out.
Awesome.
End of May, I think. Both in the end of May. One is with Damn Swindle on their album, song called Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out on the 28th, I think. There's a album release party in Radio. So go check that out.
Great.
And there's another one coming out with, I think it's the 30th even, so kind of stuck really close. But that's a track with, it's coming out on SG Lewis, his label. And it's with Fletch and Kyle Walker. And that's, another tune you should maybe check out.
Awesome. No, for
I
sure. We're going to
think
put all the
that's,
links, and everybody's going to be connected to it. Usually what we do is we release it, and then there's a week of just like heavy reels, like posted all day.
Nice.
Maybe you saw, so it's like we're spamming the algorithm. All of us that you hear us and see us, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's how it is.
You need to do it this moment of time. You can't do it half-ass.
We can't release content once a month. It just doesn't work. We get sucked into nothingness, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to ask you, from where's the name LYMA? What is...
LYMA is actually, the moment I took this name, was like, okay, sort of, I am the product that I have to sell, which is weird. And I have to give that a name. So I thought to use the first 2 letters of both my mom and my dad. So my mom is called Lydia, and my dad is called Martin.
Oh, cool.
So that together is
Look
LYMA.
at that.
Pretty simple, but
It works well.
It's something that I will always love and be connected to. So it made sense for me.
It's an easy name also.
Yeah.
That's another thing to think about if you're listening out there.
Well, people think it's LYMA, but okay.
Lyme disease.
Yeah, that's the problem I keep having. But
did someone
Yeah,
say that to you? Also Lyme disease? Or like-
well, probably.
Yeah.
They say everything, all these kind of. I don't mind.
It's a good name. I mean, in terms of like, also internationally, it's easy to pronounce it. It's not, you don't have like, language barriers connected to it.
Yeah, I mean, my name is Tjerk.
Yeah.
I say Tjerk, which nobody, maybe you could pronounce it, but most people.
Tjerk.
Yeah.
It's a hard
One
one.
of the
Is it Fries? Or
Yeah,
something?
it's
Yeah.
Fries. But
Yeah.
I've firsthand experienced how nobody can ever say that name, even in Holland.
Yeah.
Even if I went to Friesland, I would say it in a different way that they won't understand the name I have that comes from. So it's like, fuck my name. It's like, I love my name. I do love it, but not to, spread around for people that are in different countries.
Yeah,
It's just too difficult.
That's fun. Man, thank you so much for doing it.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Been a
How
pleasure.
long have you been talking?
70 minutes.
70 minutes. Look at that. An hour 10.
It flies.
It flies, man. It flew for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. for having
Everybody
me.
that is listening to this podcast, again, thank you for joining us. Joao, thank you, bro. You don't see him, but thank you. It's been a marathon today. You don't see it because we release it every week, but it's been a marathon. And again, I'm going to say it again to the people that are listening to us. You, 99% of you are not subscribed. How is that even possible? I'm asking myself. I wake up in the middle of the night and ask myself, it's impossible. It can't be. 99% of you are listening to us, but you're not subscribed. You know what you have to do? Crush that subscribe button and the like. You know it, man. And we're going to see you at the gig.